Oh my god, y'all. Hello. Welcome back to my channel. I just cannot. Today is not the day, folks. You know, last video, I don't know if y'all saw it. It was the locks, baby. It was the locks. Come on, it was locks tutorial. We still got them in. But today we're totally switching up the vibe. Going back to more conversation, advice for myself. And for you guys to hear if you guys need it all. So we all know, right? The holiday season's coming up. We're in it. Next week is Thanksgiving, right? So we're gonna eat. Along with the family, along with the food, along with the family, right? All of the good of holidays, right? So we all know we got the holidays coming up, right? We got Thanksgivings, we got the holidays, Christmases, Hanukkahs, whatever you celebrate, right? So coming with these holidays, besides the convivial, light atmospheres and food and all the cozy snacks and all that, there all comes like, you know, let's just say toxic family dynamics, right? We have the prying aunties, uncles, the family members who've caused lots of drama every year, you know, all sorts of things, right? And, you know, families typically are always the main part of people's traumas in their life, you know, childhood trauma. So holidays, especially once people have become, you know, adults and go into adulthood, or adults who are full adults for a while, right? I'm assuming, because avoid the holiday times, you know? Like, that's the place where you have to go revisit your past, your traumas, people who you just don't like, you know? People who just really, you know, grind your gears, you know? So, how to survive the holidays, toxic family edition. So I'm gonna give you 5 ways to, 5 tricks, 5 little tips, 5 tactics on how to actually survive the holiday season, right? 5 things you can do during Thanksgiving, Christmas, whatever holiday you celebrate, right? The first tactic, right? Number 1, don't go if you don't have to.
I know that's right.
You know, like, you're not obligated to go if you don't need to. Like, if you just genuinely do not want to go, you know your mental health's going to be jeopardized, you do not have to go. Like, if you're an adult and have a say with your own life, you live by yourself, live out of state, live anywhere else, and you have to travel to that location, you don't have to do it. You really don't. Like, some of you are like, wait, like, I mean, I have to, it's like my family. Like, no, that's not an excuse that's not an excuse anymore. There's no, like, but they're family. Like, I cut that excuse out of my life, because throughout my time, that's always been an excuse where people in your family can be like, can say and do anything to you. They can say and do whatever they want to you, insult you, disrespect you, but we're family. No. If we were truly like, oh, but we're family energy, then why is it okay for you guys to, like, disrespect and hurt me like more than anyone else would if they're not even my family, you know? That's not a good excuse. Like, but at the end of the day, we're family. You can do all these disgusting things to me, but then just try to justify it by saying, well, you know, but at the end of the day, we're family. No, scratch that. You don't need to go if you don't want to, because why would you go somewhere where you're literally just gonna feel anxious, scared, uncomfortable, and, like, just scattered? You don't have to go. You really don't. If you have to, like, certain circumstances where you have to, then the other tips will help. But if you don't even go if you don't have to. Like, there's nothing wrong with being alone on a holiday, you know? It's like, I'd rather be alone and not, like, mentally jeopardized and sad and anxious, or with people who you literally just don't want to be around and who, like, literally just make you feel unsafe, you know? And also, my voice and my nose are just very sick-ick, so that's why I haven't recorded this when I should have, right? But whatever. Okay, tip number two, so a lot of you may have a family member who you can rely on during these times. So maybe that one cool cousin, you know, that one cool aunt, that one cool uncle, someone during the family, you know, function that you can, like, kind of run away to talk to, run away to, like, just have a regular conversation with if, like, someone else is, like, jeopardizing your space and energy. So if you have that kind of person, just kind of lean on them for support throughout the night. Someone you can maybe take outside to talk to, or someone you can just, like, just lean on, or just be around to feel safe, you know? Try to find a designated safe person if you can, or even an animal, a dog, like, go in another room, pet a dog for a couple minutes, like, somewhere where you can have a little escape, you know? That could be a person in the room, somewhere, just some kind of activity or something to occupy you. to distract you if you are triggered during these times. Tip number 3, another thing you can do is kind of like take the time to practice your self-soothing tactics you've probably like developed throughout your adulthood, because if you ever watched this, you probably have a toxic family that you've probably like moved out from or still in, but like separate yourself a little bit or still with them. But throughout that time, you probably found some coping mechanisms, healing mechanisms to help you, deal with having a toxic family, whatever degree that may be. So that you can really take the time to be like, when you're in the moment of triggers, you can really see how far you've grown, how far you've progressed with your healing process with your family. It can really be an enlightening time to see what other parts of yourself you can work on and heal. Like you, say if you had a trauma with your father or your mother, and then you grow up, you go, now it's a time where we actually have to travel back to them for the holidays. You're not living with them. You could see, okay, what still triggers me with them? What do I need to work on? Because we can't completely blame our family for everything. There's always the dynamics. They're always going to have that dynamic. That's just them. So you kind of, you probably went away, you healed, you developed all these new self-care tactics, these mental health practices, and you're coming back to that triggering space. So you can really see, okay, that still triggers me. That still triggers me. But I've become more strong in this element, stuff like that. So you can really take the time to, like, in the moment, affirm yourself, calm down, feel the feelings, and just see how far you've grown, see how much you progressed with healing from your toxic family dynamic. Just little mental notes, you don't have to like get all serious and like start writing stuff down and like whatever. You can just take the time, like, okay, that triggered me. Ooh, when I leave, I gotta work on that, just take mental notes of things. Okay, random reminder, right? For anybody, for families, relationships, however someone treats you has nothing to do with your worth, okay? Just because someone treats you wrongly, someone disrespects you, just treats you disrespectfully, has nothing to do with who you are. And that's especially prevalent for family dynamics, because however they treat you is a representation of how they feel inside. Because like, ain't nobody tells them to treat you that way, they chose to because they feel ugly inside, okay? Just remember that. Tip number 4, right? Establish gentle boundaries. I'm speaking for more me, my age group, like early 20s, beginning adulting, right? And this is when, like, the first time where we're like going back to visit our family rather than like, all right, like, I'm waking up with you guys, we're gonna cook today. No, I moved out. So establishing these little boundaries. So say if you have that aunt, that mother, that person who's like, hey, like, say if you just got out of a relationship or something, they'll be like, how's so-and-so? Like, where's that boyfriend that you've, whatever. You can say, like, since we're adults now, I don't want to talk about that. Can we talk about something else? I don't feel comfortable discussing that. And no matter the backlash, because those aunts, oh, what do you mean? Like, you too good? There's certain, there's all sorts of things. You're an adult. You're not a child anymore to this aunt. Yes, there's respect, but you don't have to talk about things you don't want to talk about. And certain dynamics will make us feel like we have to, shrink down, get into our people-pleasing aspects, and do whatever they say because they're the elder. They're understandable. But not anymore, because we're adults. We can have that respect, but we need to get the respect back because we're adults. So establish the small boundaries when you feel comfortable to. Because sometimes when we get back in, like I said, in our family dynamics, we feel compelled to turn back into our people-pleasing, like, just codependent aspects of our childhood, so that we might shrink, in regard to certain people. So if you have to have the confidence, feel the strength too. Because, like, you probably developed it, once you got into adulthood, you're like, all right, like, I'm becoming yourself. You went through college already or whatever. You went that little age of becoming an adult. We've developed ourselves enough to know, or at least begin to know, our boundaries and what we're comfortable discussing and what we're not comfortable discussing. So that nosy aunt, auntie, sorry, I don't want to talk about that. This makes me uncomfortable. Or you don't have to go that far. I'm like, I just really don't want to talk about that right now. Thank you. How are you doing? How's the husband? Stuff like that. So establish smaller or gentle boundaries, because you're there to eat, to vibe. If it's Thanksgiving, you're there to eat and vibe, not talk about toxic ex.
I know that's right.
Auntie. And the last tip that I'm going to stress to myself a lot this year, try to focus on the fact that it's a holiday, try to focus on the fact that it's a holiday. Try to focus on the good. I know it's hard. It's gonna be very hard. It's gonna be very hard. But try to focus on the fact that, okay, I'm supposed to be here to have fun. I'm supposed to be here to vibe with my family, to eat. In general, forget the specifics of each person. You know, I'm here to have fun. I'm supposed to have fun. I'm trying to eat, but I'll go. Bask in the holiday activities. Play with some little cousins. Play with, you know, talk to people. Meet and greet with people who you actually enjoy the place, and just like combine everything we've already talked about. Establish your small boundaries. Affirm yourself all the while. If you get a little uncomfortable, take the space you need. Go outside. Go for a walk. Call a friend, and if you go to the bathroom, to call someone. Just try to make it the best experience you can have, because we don't want to go through another holiday triggered, traumatized. Because once we're becoming more in adulthood, like me, or if you're already a seasoned person, we don't have to go through any more holidays being triggered and traumatized. Yes, we'll always feel the triggers, but if we like really take initiative to if we take initiative to actually prioritize our happiness in these moments, the opportunities will present itself, and we'll experience less of the traumatizing events, because we're coming more into ourselves and leaving those kind of, you know, traumatized children within us in those spaces, because we're moving on. We're getting older. We're developing our own lives, so we're healing our inner child all the while. So holidays are always those times where we go back and revisit those traumas head on, because most of the time our childhood home is where our traumas were born, in the most extreme sense, and the most small sense, such as people-pleasing and codependency was born there, or other extreme traumas that people can experience from their families. So holidays, they're supposed to be convivial, happy, fun, just, you know, time of just giving, getting, and just warmth and happiness, you know? So yes, but they're also a time of darkness and the past we try to escape, but we can just take these tips, take one step at a time, and know that holiday pain and pleasure is only temporary. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you have an amazing Thanksgiving. So I'm gonna see you before then. I'm definitely gonna see you before then, but I hope you have a great one, and I'll see you soon. Thanks for watching.